Hey, Crestwood, Mayday, Mayday. No, it's Mayday. Can you believe it's May 1st? That is unbelievable. Thankfully, we have the weather today to support this slow march towards summer, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy it. God is so good in so many ways. A lot of the ways we don't even recognize, we don't even acknowledge, but we can acknowledge the goodness that God has put in our lives this particular day, be it friends or family or the beauty of creation or a sense of purpose or fulfillment, whatever that is today for you. Stop, pause, and give God thanks for that. I'm honored to bring you this devotional for this Wednesday, May 1st. Today I'm thinking about scams. So this past Sunday, the Stephen Minister sponsored a Living Well presentation from Officer Towery with the Lexington Police Department. And he talked with us about all the different scams that are out there and how we can be diligent in being aware of those and trying to avoid them. It is amazing how insidious and how cunning and creative scammers are to try to get us to give money or give up personal information. I can tell you this, if you ever get an email from me asking for money or help or anything like that, check the email address. If it's not Kory@crestwoodchristian.org, it's not me. And I know those are out there because I get notifications every once in a while that, hey, I got an email from you. Phone calls, emails, texts, all the different ways people try to scam us. And knowing that that's out there can create a real culture of fear within us, a real culture of distrust, right? You don't know whether to trust someone or not because you don't know if they're trying to scam you, if they're trying to get something from you. And we can trust those that we know well, but if we're in a situation to meet someone new or face the unknown or whatever, we kind of enter it with this culture of fear. And I think that's really hard to get away from that because I think that culture is encouraged within us. We should be fearful of strangers, of foreigners, of people asking for help. And yet, as Christians, we aren't called to be fearful. We're called to live into the trust that God is with us. You know, I was thinking about that when I was thinking about this passage from Matthew where Jesus sends out his disciples into the surrounding communities to share the good news, to live out the gospel. And he says this, I'm reading from the Message, this is Matthew 10. He says to them, stay alert. This is hazardous work I'm assigning you. You're going to be like sheep running through a wolf pack. So don't call attention to yourselves. He says, be as cunning as a snake and as inoffensive as a dove. That's such an interesting contrast, isn't it? To be cunning, to be shrewd, to be on your guard, and yet to be innocent, to be pure, to be inoffensive. How do we live that out in this world? How do we live out both the prudence of protecting ourselves and the trust that God is with us no matter what? I think that's one of the big challenges of faith, is how do we stay alert to the ways that people may be trying to take advantage of us while still staying open and allowing ourselves even to be vulnerable to opportunities to share the good news, to live out our faith. I know that fear can often keep us from doing that. That fear can keep us from helping out someone who is lower on the socioeconomic scale than us. That fear can keep us from going to a soup kitchen or helping at a homeless shelter or those sorts of things. It's a lot easier for us to sit back, write a check, and send it off rather than to get involved, get hands-on. But that's not what we're called to do as Christians. Jesus sends us out into the world with a mission to spread the good news. He didn't say, well, just sit back and send some money here and there. Each and every one of us are called to go out, usually beyond our comfort zone, into this world to share the good news. We're to go out prudently, right? Cunning as a snake, but we're also to go out with this sort of innocence of we're going to help someone even if it disadvantages us, even if we have to sacrifice, even if we're uncomfortable. We are called to go and live the good news in this world. It is so hard to know the right way to do that. And I don't think we ever get that done perfectly. I think it's a line and we kind of go one side or the other, one side being prudent, one side being inoffensive or vulnerability. We kind of go back and forth on that. But we should never let our fear of what might happen keep us from living out the faith that we are called to share each and every day. It's so easy to come up with 100 excuses why you should be afraid to live out your faith. But Jesus calls us beyond fear. Do not be afraid, he says. He calls us beyond fear into a trust in him as we seek to live out our faith and to make a real difference in this world. So Crestwood, I want to encourage you today, where can you make a difference? What's holding you back? What's making you afraid? Always pay attention to your intuition. Always pay attention to your senses if you are fearful. But then ask yourself the question, is that fear real? Or is that fear simply keeping you from living out your faith more boldly? You can make a real difference in somebody's life if you're able to cross that threshold of fear and step out in faith to serve them. So, Crestwood, stay alert. This is hazardous work that Christ is assigning us. I encourage you to be as cunning as a snake and as innocent and inoffensive as a dove as you seek to live out your faith today and every day. God bless you, Crestwood.